Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roach.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our reaction and review for Nine Bodies and a Mexican Morgue, episode 6.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, was this episode fire!
What a great end to a fantastic series. This has just been so much fun murder mystery, who done it.
Yeah,
We got a very satisfying finale. I mean, there was a teeny part of me that was a little bit worried that it was like, oh, it's going to be somebody else in the jungle, but it was so small. I was like, there's
yeah.
no way the show is going to do us dirty. It's going to be satisfying. And oh my goodness, it was so satisfying.
I will say right now my one criticism of this finale, and it's going to be very silly. When Kevin was flying that plane over the jungle, I wanted him to get away. And I wanted him to get away because I wanted a season 2
I
of
know.
everybody trying to stop him and a new mystery comes out of it.
He still might get away. We didn't see him crash. We just saw the gas, coming out of the plane. And yeah, he's probably going to crash and it'll come full circle. But could he survive again? Maybe someone will come get him.
I just kind of want it because I love this finale. Like, I thought this finale was amazing. It was so well done. And, we'll get
It
into all the
was.
particulars, but I think the biggest thing I loved about it is just that there were some things about it that I think a lot of us in some form or another may have been able to predict it. Like you were so on the money when it comes to, Kevin faking his own death and everything with Dan. And, we both suspected Kevin as sort of being the big bad for a while.
Mhm.
But then there were all these other things that it was just like, I never saw coming. I never imagined. I never even remotely thought about.
That whole Octavio thing, everything with Cora, the omelet, I mean, the everything being hidden inside the body cavities. 10
Yeah.
out of 10. I didn't see it coming. It was such a cool reveal,
Yeah.
especially how he got the drugs out of the jungle and he got himself out of the jungle. It was just so well done.
Yeah.
I know that this is a limited series and it's not supposed to be coming back, but man, I just want to watch another season of this where we have Zach versus Kevin.
Yeah, the writing was just so sharp and so well done that they kind of thought everything through the entirety of this show to the point
Yeah,
where you looked at just the title of this show from the get-go and you're just kind of like,
such a good title.
it's a
Oh my
great
God.
title, but it was just like, okay, is the morgue really that important? Is it? But it turns out, yes, the morgue is actually that important. They were all mules and it's crazy, but it fully works for the show that we're getting.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to get into everything else, how psyched we are about this finale. Before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because I know Nine Bodies is over and we're all in our feelings about that. But we have so much good coverage here coming. White Lotus is wrapping up, Yellow Jackets, we're nearing the end of that season, but also The Handmaid's Tale starting very, very soon. The
Mhm.
Last of Us season 2 premiering on HBO very soon. We are beyond stoked to get into all of that.
Yeah, Dexter Resurrection is coming up as well. There's so much good TV coming up. So hit that subscribe button and also follow us over on our Patreon for even more TV shows. We are covering over there right now The Pit
Yeah.
and Bosch Legacy. It's in its final season. It's the only place that you can get those videos. So check us out over there. It helps support Matt and I here at the channel.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate that so much.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my victory lap
Okay, go ahead.
here
Go ahead.
with this win that Kevin did fake his death. He ended up seeing him in Dan's clothes. It was
Yeah.
such a laugh later on, but he did switch out with Dan. He used Dan's body, the Barracuda Pond, to be able to, fake it around, to be able to get himself out of there. But the whole thing with taking Travis's drugs to be able to sort of make himself look like he was dead, to be able to get brought out all the drugs inside all the bodies, him being like a past surgeon to actually be able to, cut people open, remove what needs to be removed, to be able to put in what needs to be put in. I was just like, this is so well done. I didn't expect it at all. Even when they were pulling back through the morgue,
Yeah.
I'm like, why are we in the morgue like this? And all of a sudden you see the knife go through and cut through the bag. I was like, oh, here we go.
And it's one of those things where I'm sort of like banging my head against the wall. It's like, why didn't I see this coming? I am aware of the Clint Eastwood movie, The Mule. It's like, why did I not think of any mules as a possibility here? But it's just like they did a good job of sort of making us think of a lot of other possibilities and outcomes. And one of the things that I have been really stuck on is just that there were 9 bodies in the morgue. And it was just like, okay, well, then one person has survived. Does that mean then that there's a good person who made it through and the killer was eventually taken out? Or is it just the killer gets out and then we have a very sad, depressing ending to this story?
Yeah, 2 people got out. That
Yeah.
was really surprising. I did not see that coming at all. I thought that it was just Kevin was gonna get out. I was hoping that maybe with Zach, we didn't see his body. And sometimes,
Yeah.
no body, no death. That seems to be the way that it is on TV. And it was this way here as well, where I was just like, oh, wow, like we actually have 2 people.
Can we just talk about what a baller Zach is? It's
I
like, he's
know.
clinging for life. He manages to still find a way to get people's attention. It is just like, you have gone through it, but
Love him.
kudos to you. Like, you getting reunited with Claire. You guys are starting to piece everything together. And sometimes, reenactments on shows like this, they can be a little bit dull or a little bit boring or a little bit of like, okay, you're explaining too much. But I really enjoyed and sort of appreciated the kind of look back at everything and how it all came together, because it all like paid off, these just little nuggets that we got throughout the show.
Yeah, it was very clever the way that Zach was able to get the pilot's attention so that he could be rescued, and seeing them reunite. It felt like Zach was going to make it through. He was the only character on the show that had a backstory that was away from what was going on in the jungle. We actually saw his kid, we actually saw his wife, and
Yeah.
what she was going through to try to get him back. I'm like, well, he's got to live, right? Like,
Yeah.
why are we going to go through all this so that Claire can just be brokenhearted?
Yeah, I was just really worried that they were going to get my hopes up, that this was going to be some sort of crazy sad ending, but no, that didn't happen. So I'm obviously very happy with that.
Yes.
I'm also very happy for Eric McCormick, who got to play just like a completely different person in a way, of seeing him as sort of Kevin on the outside with Cora, no glasses. I almost didn't recognize him at first when he was wearing Dan's clothes. I mean, not just because he was wearing Dan's clothes. It's like, you were a completely different person now.
Yeah, for a second,
Yeah.
when I saw Dan's clothes and we didn't see that it was him yet, I was like, is Dan the person that actually faked his death and it's actually just Dan?
Yeah.
Like, I really had no idea where they were going to end up going with that, even though I had the theory that Kevin switched it out or whatever. There was a second that
Yeah.
I saw the back of him in Dan's clothes and I was like, oh my God, like it's completely wrong. It is Dan.
Well, you're doing a good job as a show when it's like, I was watching all this with your theory in mind and I was like, okay, what Jess said made perfect sense. But there's still that moment when you actually see it happen in reality where it's just like, wow, they really did it. Like, they really paid off this idea.
And I love that they explained it in such a realistic way of, Kevin is now here in the jungle. He's got all these people around. He knows about this video that's from Octavio to Cora,
Yeah.
calling her by her full name, that they are in love. And he's now in this spot in the jungle where I'm thinking back and I'm just like, oh man, like he saw this video. He knows that Octavio was supposed to be part of this. And, he cacked it all up. And
Yeah.
then now they're in this spot where Kevin's like, okay, cool. So I know that my woman is cheating on me with Octavio.
Yeah.
I know that I need her to be able to get out of here. I know that I need to be able to get these drugs out of here because I'm a bit more small time, but this is my big break. How am I going to be able to work all this out where I can keep Cora on the line, where she
Yeah.
thinks everything is fine, that I can get these drugs out of here? And this idea that he came up with of like, okay, well, I'm going to use these bodies then to get my drugs out. I'll use these bodies and the transmitter to get myself out. And then I will deal with Cora. I'll just pocket this mushroom for later. I was like, oh, when he was first cutting it up
Yeah.
and he was putting in the mushrooms in that omelet, I knew that it was going into a poison thing, but I was like, man, that looks good.
I would admit they duped me. I don't know why. I just at that point I was like, okay, we'd already seen the mushrooms have an effect on the past.
Yes.
I didn't even think about it anymore until he was actually like feeling sick. And then at that point I was like, oh, that's what happened. And then we got the full story on it, and it's just like, okay, wow. And I'm not sitting here and caping for the bad guy by any means, but just I mean, this was so thought out. It's like if you're gonna be a bad guy, do this. Like, go full tilt, be very methodical. He thought of every single scenario possible. And really, if you really take a moment to think about it, the only reason that Kevin may not have gotten away with all of this is that Zach got a pretty lucky shot in because he was flying away. The odds that he was able to hit anything here are kind of surprising.
Yeah, Zach got very lucky, not only that he got rescued, but with this shot, but also that Kevin, they never found his body, right? So Kevin just didn't know that Zach was still alive.
Yeah.
So it gave him the element of surprise, but he did get there almost too late.
Yeah.
He did get that lucky shot off, but man, watching just Kevin's face as he looked down and see that all the fuel was gone, he just like basically broke the fourth wall and just looked at us and was just like, oh my God, like I went through all of this to end up right back where I started in the jungle with the drugs, but now I have no bodies and no one's really going to be looking for me.
That breaking the fourth wall thing, I almost thought for a split second we were going to hear a narration from Kevin and it was going to be like, well, I'm about to tell you all a story
Yeah.
about how my plan to take all these drugs out of the wilderness and sell them has gone completely and totally awry. It was a very entertaining moment. It's good at least to have this brief moment of recollection where we can be like, oh, the good guys have made it. We found a way to figure this out. And this is always the sort of way to take out a mastermind is it's just they may try to think of every little bitter piece of this possible,
Yeah.
but nobody is perfect. There's always like one sort of thing that can go awry that can cause the entire operation to fall apart. Like I'll use an analogy here to You on Netflix that's coming back presumably very soon, and we're excited to check that out. But it's just like Joe Goldberg may think at this point that he's gotten away with everything, but there are a couple of loose ends from his past that he may not be that aware of. And it's like, okay, that's always the solution to take out these people.
Here's the thing that I didn't like, but it's a tiny,
All right,
tiny
let's hear it.
beef. I've never liked that Zach is married and that there was this kind of budding relationship with Sonia. I know he didn't like cross the line or anything happen or anything like that, but I did not like that we had Claire and Zach in this car where she was kind of like, oh, you liked her, didn't you? I'm just like, why does this need to be in here at all? This is not okay.
Yeah.
You were in the jungle for like 8 days or whatever it was. It is not enough time to be like kind of lightly touching on an affair, like, and your wife shouldn't be okay with it.
No, I just don't think that needed to be
It
there
didn't need to
in
be
the
there.
finale because Zach had already told Sonia that he was married. Like he
Right.
had already made it very clear who he was, what his priorities were. It didn't need to come back in the finale. Like I would have been more than fine. I just wanted to see a happy reunion with Zach and Claire because
Yes.
it's like their relationship in itself is the big thing that I am most invested in.
Yes.
Okay, so as we're sort of looking at this finale in totality here, obviously it was very successful for a number of different reasons, but the question does emerge, and we talked about this at the start. It's just like, is there a way still that they can move forward with this? Now, MGM Plus, they have kind of shown a willingness to kind of go back and forth with some of this. Like we saw Earth Abides, and we covered that, and it was a really great show, but it was also a show that was pretty clear with all the time jumps. It's like, okay, there can never be any more of it. We got a beginning, middle, and end. But here,
Yeah, that's the thing. I think,
yeah,
as much as it pains me to say this, this needs to be the one and done. They told for me, a complete enough story. He's got no gas in his plane. It is going to go down and he is going to be back in this jungle again, but he's going to be by himself with his drugs and no one there to help him. He's not going to have Cora anymore or any ways to really get himself out of this. It feels like he's done. Now, Could he land down there and find his way out and whatever with the drug? Sure. But going into a second season, I just don't know what the story is going to be besides Zach versus Kevin in the real world. Unless you've got Zach then going back into the jungle with a group of people to try to save Kevin and get justice. It's kind of like, well, why? Like, this feels like justice is served. He's right back in the same situation he started at, except there's no one there to help him. Like, it felt served.
It did feel served. I'm going to throw one crazy possibility
All
out there.
right.
And it's not even going to involve Kevin in any shape or form,
All
because
right.
as much as I want to see that showdown, I'm willing to let that go. I'm going to go more in the model of one of my personal favorite ridiculous shows in Hijack. Hijack season 2 is coming presumably at some point, and I'm pretty
Presumably.
sure you got Idris Elba in some other dangerous situation. Can we just take the character of Zach and put him on some other sort of ridiculous situation where nobody believes him and he has to do all this all over again? Do we need it? No. The story has
No.
closure. Would I watch it? 1,000% I would.
Yeah, Zach is a great character. I really enjoyed watching this actor playing him. I would watch something else that Zach would be in, but you know, for it being a sequel, like if they would have to give Zach like a really meaty story. It can't just be, okay, now Zach is DA on a train or a boat or whatever, and now it's happening again. It can't be
No.
hijacked over again.
Okay, if nothing else, then even if you don't do a season 2 of this, let's just hope the creative team can stay in place, give us something else like this, because this was just a really fun 6-episode story, great closure, plenty of surprises along the way.
Yes.
But thank you guys so much for being a part of this 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue experience with us. Let us know what you thought about the finale, all of the reveals. What surprised you the most? Hit that subscribe button as well for more coverage. In addition to everything we talked about earlier, Black Mirror is coming back very, very soon on
Yes.
Netflix. We're really stoked for that. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. We have coverage there of The Pit and Bosch Legacy exclusively in video form. Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you here next time.